Good Friday morning, everyone. Almost always on Friday, what's the first thing I do? I have to invite you to church. And at Saddleback Laguna Woods, we meet in Clubhouse 5 at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. We have the continental breakfast with donuts, coffee, hard-boiled eggs, and so forth every Sunday, both services. So I hope you'll join us. But if you have a home church, then rejoice in that and go worship Jesus there. The important part is that you worship the Lord every week. That's what God asks us to do. It's what it makes us feel whole, and it's a blessing in our lives. It's my favorite day of the week. I hope it is yours also. Now, this week, being the first week of the year, I wanted to start with the passage. If any new believer comes to me and asks, well, where should I start in the Bible? I say book of John. And John chapter 1, of course, begins the book of John. And the Apostle John put out such an amazing first 18 verses that say so much and give a great theology base for whatever else comes after that and learn. So we have already gone through the first 13 verses, and I'm just going to read through the rest of it. I think we'll have time, but this is a passage you ought to study in more depth even than this. We've spent 4 days on it, but only 10 minutes a day. It deserves, I think it deserves being memorized. It's that good. It's that good. If you haven't read the first 13 verses, you need to, okay? Okay, that's a deal. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. That just means what? Because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That was verse 1. And here, John is making clear that that Word he is talking about is Jesus. The Word became flesh, and he dwelt among us humans. And here's what he saw. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, that's the God the Father, who came from the Father, in fact, it says, full of grace and truth. I love that phrase. And he actually is going to say it again before the end of these 18 verses. But that's exactly what Jesus was. He is full of grace. Grace, that which gives us undeserved merit. We didn't earn any salvation, but because of his grace, we can have forgiveness of sins and life everlasting. That is, grace is just giving what the person or recipient doesn't deserve. We don't deserve that. And then he is full of truth. He is the truth. John 14:6, Jesus declared himself, I am the way and what? The truth. The truth. There's a lot of false teaching in the world. There's a teaching out there that says there is no truth, that you don't know what is true. That's your opinion of what's true. Jesus declared himself the truth. Apostle John writing said he's full of the truth. He is the truth. And that which disagrees with that is the untruth. Unless Jesus is a liar. Do you think Jesus is a liar? No, he is not. He is not. He is the truth. Verse 15. John testifies concerning him, and he cries out, this was he of whom I said, he who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me. What was John the Baptist? That was John the Baptist saying that. What does he mean he was before him? It means that John the Baptist realized that in fact Jesus was God who existed before everything. And he certainly existed and was alive before John the Baptist. And he knew it. He wasn't worthy. Verse 16, from the fullness of his grace, we have all received one blessing after another. Jesus' grace knows no bounds. All the good things in your life, you know where they came from? The grace of God, the grace of Jesus. He is the one who bestows these blessings upon us, including life. Life itself comes from Jesus. For the law was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. Isn't that something? Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. By the way, can I just say, if you watch the show much, I've said this numerous times because I want everyone to know it. The word Christ. Christ was not his last name. No, Jesus the Messiah. Christ is the Greek word which this was written in for the Jewish word, the Hebrew word, Messiah. So Jesus the Messiah. It was clear when this was being read by everyone in the first century, after Apostle John wrote it, that he said, Jesus, the Messiah. Last verse, 18. No one has ever seen God, but God, as no one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made him known. Made him known in this person of Jesus. Because Jesus was and is God. It was God who came to earth in the form of a baby child. We just had Christmas, didn't we? We just celebrated the Christmas season, which is the day on which we celebrate the birth of Jesus. We don't know which actual day he was born. Their calendars were different, and that wasn't noted. However, this is the day that we choose to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And that Savior, and when he says no one has ever seen God, that means unclouded. Jesus was truly God and truly man. And those who saw him through his life saw him in the veil of mankind. And so they were able to see him. But we haven't seen God face to face until the day of which we go to heaven to be with him. And at that time, we will. We will. And it'll be, oh, glorious day, as the song goes. Oh, glorious day when we see him face to face. Well, this was the first week of the new year. We read from John 1, talking about from the beginning of time, verse 1, right down to, well, to the day in which he was revealed by John the Baptist. Obviously, there's much more in this book, the book of John. I encourage you to read it. It'll bless your soul. It's the book that I tell people ought to be the first book that they read as followers of Christ. And if you haven't read it, you need to. It'll just lay out everything that you need to know about Jesus. It's going to be a great weekend of worship. Don't miss whatever worship service you go to. I'd love if you come to Saddleback Laguna Woods, just introduce yourself to me. I would love to meet you and just share a donut with you. That'll be fun. God bless. Walk closely with your Lord, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him